Hello and welcome to Fair Life with Andrew McKee. I'm remote now in New Jersey right now, in Vincenttown, New Jersey, where, well, it's a lot cooler than Texas when it comes to temperature, I will say that. So I've been enjoying it up here at the New Jersey Renaissance Festival, and thanks for joining me. I'm noticing that the chat doesn't seem to be transferring well to OBS on my mobile right now. So I'm going to have to just read that the old-fashioned way. So we'll see what I can do. Hey, Kurt and Damaris, thanks for joining. Yeah, it is never boring here, but it has been an interesting couple of weeks. The traveling up to New Jersey was definitely an interesting endeavor, to say the least. Oh, you like the background? Yeah, it's kind of different, right? Yeah, this is the room I'm staying at. This is, they have a very artistic flair here. So yes, it's definitely interesting. And I put some lighting, some nice mood lighting up there to make it interesting. But yeah, it is definitely an interesting room. Let's just say it's not a boring place to relax. Definitely true. But yeah, the trip up was a bit nuts. I ended up getting food poisoning on the trip, so that wasn't fun. And it definitely was a bit of a challenge. But yeah, I made it, and first weekend was a bit rough, but I got through that. And then, yeah, this last weekend worked out great. I am playing music with a group there at the New Jersey Ren Fair, the Rowdy Bardlings. And yeah, they have a really good good set of instruments for rhythm and everything, but not as much on melody. So I jump in and help out a lot with that on the recorder. And also they hired me to manage the sound at that particular stage throughout the day. So I was doing sound for, well, several different groups, from a group called the Lambdings and Chase Treasure, and a few other groups throughout the day here or there, Barty Party, and yeah, a few different groups. But it was it's something I can do, so I'm glad to help out and get the sound system working, do as good a job as possible so that everybody sounds as good. And I know that for all of you that have been to fairs and have seen different groups, you know what I'm talking about, where sometimes the sound system just isn't that good. And, you know, there's a lot of possible things at fault. Sometimes it's a cheap sound system. Sometimes it's the wireless system that's acting up or getting interference from other devices. Sometimes the wireless system itself is cheap, or the mics aren't that good. Sometimes it's just the setup, where the setup isn't that done right, where there's a lot of the sound is kind of canceling each other out from both speakers. It just doesn't sound very good. There's a lot of possibilities, and that's it's always been a pet peeve of mine. So I'm really I'm really glad that they took sound so seriously at New Jersey. And Louisiana Faire did the same thing last year, and it sounds like they're wanting me again for this year to manage the sound and try to make sure that everybody is sounding as good as possible. And there are some fairs that really take sound seriously, but then there are some that it's more of an afterthought. I think it just depends on how the owners and entertainment director, what their experience is, and how much of a priority they look at it. But I'm really happy. There's a reason I do the fairs I do. Let's put it that way. Yeah, because they do take sound seriously, and I really like that. Yeah, I definitely am going to change the lighting a little bit. It's, yeah, definitely some weird shadows going on. I feel like I'm ready for a Halloween show right now. But it's something I'll work on. Definitely something I'll work on. Never boring. Wow. Okay. Anyway, yeah, Kurt, some fairs music is just an afterthought, and I get it. I mean, there's always a lot of things on your plate when you're managing a fair, and it is a bit of a challenge, by far. I mean, what are you going to do? And this really, it is a thing. It really is a thing. Foreshadowing our us, Lisa. That's funny. Yes. Yeah, it is a it is definitely a thing. Oh, and I see Janine is over on YouTube. Uh, and yes, it is an interesting moral or mural. Okay, okay. Yeah, and I'm sorry I haven't I'm not getting the comments up on the screen. I'm having a problem with that with my setup, and I just saw it when I went live, and I could have stopped and restarted, but I didn't think it was worth it. So knowing that's the problem, I'll have it fixed by next weekend. Yeah, I had some weird graphics problems with OBS that I didn't encounter the last time I set it up for a remote live stream from my laptop, so I was really surprised. I fixed that, but I wasn't expecting this to be an issue. But it happens. But that's yeah, that's one of the things. I'm going to really try to get my remote set up. I mean, I've talked about this for the last few years, a little bit here, a little bit there, but I'm it's definitely a priority now, to say the least, because I'm going to be on the road for the next several weeks, and and I'm looking at being on the road more in the future than I have been. So yeah, it definitely needs to be more of a priority and to get everything running smooth. Yeah, Lisa, fair morals. Yeah, that was a weird slip of the tongue. I don't know. And hey, Harvey, great to see you. Yes, I know. Fair morals do exist. They do indeed. Oh man, yeah. So a lot of it was a fun week. I know the thing about New Jersey that is really bizarre to me is the incredible number of diners. I mean, they have all of these diners with menus that have hundreds of items on them. It's crazy to me. And I know for you that are watching this that are used to the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, all of that, no big deal. That's normal. But where I'm from, you know, I mean, I go to plenty of restaurants that have 5 items on the menu, and that's it in Austin. So it's really, it's a very different type of thing. And I mean, the other thing is that the food's very good. I mean, so far, everything I've ordered at the diners, any type of food, whether it's seafood or Italian or Asian cuisine or salads or whatever, they're all insanely good. So give them a lot of credit. It's definitely interesting. I mean, and yeah, of course, they also have a ridiculous number of pizzerias everywhere. And also an abnormal number of Dunkin' Donuts. But I think that's just a New Jersey thing. Yeah, Harvey's asking if I'm far from the Delaware Memorial Bridge. I'm sort of in central New Jersey, kind of just east of Philadelphia. If that, you know, as you go east of Philadelphia into New Jersey, it's still fairly urban, and then it starts getting more rural and more rural and more rural. And then eventually you get to like, oh, this looks more like farmland. And then you go a little farther, and that's where I am. It's a small little town called Vincenttown, New Jersey. And I'm in a, staying with some friends here on literally Main Street. So if you saw on Facebook where I showed a picture of me this morning, they had a Memorial Day parade, and they really did a great job with it. I was very impressed. They definitely took the pride in that very seriously, and is a very good community event. So yeah, very, very interesting. Oh, really, Harvey? I'm close to you. Okay. And I'm sorry if I'm making you hungry, Damaris. Yeah, I mean, it's, they do have some very good food. And, you know, traveling as a performer, I mean, there are a lot of negatives. I mean, you don't get a lot of money. I mean, it's not get rich type of career by far. And the logistics, it's, you're constantly trying to figure out how to make things work, and with travel, and, you know, you're essentially balancing your checkbook every week, because you've got to figure out how to spend everything and how to balance it all and make it all work without without losing money. And it's always an uphill battle. It's always pretty stressful. But there are some pros, and one of them is travel. That is one of the big things. I mean, certainly the passion of playing your music is the biggest, of fulfillment of your art. But being able to do that with traveling and seeing a lot of different places and trying different things and meeting different people is, I mean, some people don't like that, and that's perfectly reasonable. And honestly, when I was young, I mean, when I was a kid, it was never a huge deal for me. But the older I got, the more I started to really appreciate it. Where when I first started going on tour, the whole travel thing was, it's okay. It's not really a big deal for me, but it's kind of interesting and fun. Now I really cherish it, and I value it so much. I guess it just depends on your attitude about it, but it is definitely a plus. Yeah. Lost in Space Jersey. I like that. I like that. Yeah, Harvey traveled your entire working life. And yeah, I know people that are like that. My father, who was an auditor who would travel around to different companies to check their books for the company he worked for. And he'd travel all around the country and sometimes out of the country. And it was, I know he really liked it. He really liked that. And when I was growing up, we didn't travel that much. I mean, we traveled a little, but not too much. And I think because of that, I got used to wanting that stable one place I was at. So yeah, but I guess I do have the genes to appreciate that on some level, and it just had to get used to it. But yeah, it is definitely interesting. It's definitely different. Ooh, yeah, not many people watching tonight. I guess because I wasn't sure I could make the show happen, I was having some problems with the graphics. I didn't put out invites, so I guess a lot of people just watch it later, which is fine. There are some people on YouTube, so that's all good too. No problem at all. And yeah, Janine's saying that people at small town restaurants, like employees, can be really nice. And you're right. You're very right. And honestly, I find all the people in New Jersey are really nice. I mean, a very high percentage of them. I don't know if that's an all New Jersey thing or more of a southern New Jersey thing or what, but no, very, very friendly people here. I've liked that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Damaris is in nomadic people in her family tree, so feels like she came by it, honestly. Yeah, I get that. Totally get that. But yeah, let's see. Wow, a few different things to talk about. Well, okay, I guess the main thing is, let me go ahead and bring this up because I'm dealing with one screen as opposed to three, which I normally have, so it's a little more effort. But yeah, it was interesting because there is a sort of a docu-series. Okay, I can't even call it a documentary because that's unfair to documentaries. It's a reality show, is a fair assessment, on HBO Max, coming out on Sunday, June the 2nd. And it is called, well, let's just bring this up here. Yeah, Faire. And if you haven't seen the trailer for this, go ahead and give it a watch. It all takes place at the Texas Renaissance Festival outside of Houston. And a lot of the people in there I know, or at least have met over the years. And I've played at the Texas Renaissance Festival. It's been a while, but I have. And oh my gosh, this is the most, so much dribble. I can't even, it's difficult for me to even take it remotely seriously. Wow. Oh, and Dan, yeah. It was great to see you and meet you this past weekend too. I'm sorry we didn't get more of a chance to talk. I was kind of in the middle of a lot of things, but yeah, it was great to see you. I'm going to go ahead and watch it, Damaris. I know you want to avoid it, but I don't like bashing something without actually having seen it. I like to be able to speak about something with authority, and it's 3 episodes is how they're doing it, and it's essentially just imagine like Duck Dynasty or something like that, or it's that type of thing where they have this whole concept of the owner of the fair is retiring, and all of these different people want to take over the fair, and they're doing this whole drama back and forth behind the scenes, and the camera follows it. I mean, this some of the stories I am familiar with of some of the stuff that's been going on at Texas Renaissance Festival. Some I don't know, which is fine, but I really kind of look at it as, I mean, wow, it is just total. It's just totally fake. I mean, it's all just made up dribble. I mean, it's nothing. And the part that bothers me is I feel like it's just going to give Ren fairs and people that work at Ren fairs a bad name. I mean, one of the hard parts about being a Ren fair performer is that association with the bad association of the bad perception of the circus, and that was always a thing that you had to deal with, where people would look at you as like you're one step above thief, and that was it. Not fair at all. I mean, whether you're at the Ren Fair or a circus, but it's just that's kind of the perception people generally have, and this goes back 100 years as far as circuses go, and over 50 years for Ren fairs. But it's just something I've seen my entire life, and I don't think this is helping. It's cheapening the experience, and I'm not happy. I would be interested to see what you would, how you would feel about it. Yeah, and Drew, yeah, you know, I mean, you are at the Texas Renaissance Festival, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. But and Harvey, yeah, it kind of is like a soap opera. And you're right. I mean, Ren fairs have always been about drama. There's always, I mean, you're talking about a bunch of actors essentially getting together. And yeah, emotions are going to fly, tempers are going to fly. There is plenty of actual stuff that they could document, but they're not doing that. This just seems so contrived, and cheesy. I mean, honestly, I think you could make an actually interesting drama if you tried, but they're not doing that. At least I don't think so. This just comes across very gratuitous and sad. But we'll see. I mean, yeah. And all of you kind of are saying that I mean, all theater always has drama, and it does, but this really paints it in such a negative light. I mean, the best part about drama, and certainly it's very stressful dealing with it at Ren Fair or theater or wherever, is that there's good sides and bad sides. I mean, there's interesting drama, there's scary drama, there's depressing drama, there's exhilarating drama. And there's a lot of elements. There's kind of a positive and a negative aspect to it. And this seems to be focusing on the negative, at least from the trailer. So once again, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to try to give it a good watch before the next show, next Monday. It'll come out on Sunday. I'll see if I can watch it before. I may not get a chance, but I'm going to try so that I can at least tell you what I think. If I'm totally wrong and being unfair, and it's actually really good, it might be. But I'm not confident. Let's say that. And yeah, Kurt is saying negative sells, and you're not wrong. But I don't know. I was really thinking reality TV was kind of starting to go away. That we'd finally hit a point where people were kind of not interested in that anymore. It actually was a point of hope for me, and I don't really see that happening. Oh well. Well, Damaris, yeah, she's saying it's an HBO series. Are you really surprised? Well, HBO, certainly lately, they've kind of changed a bit. But historically, they've always been very avant-garde and hitting hard topics that no one else will touch. And I I always appreciated that. Um, but yeah, I see your point that they've gone weird ways lately. Um, yeah. Chris is very right, saying that it seems like basically sensationalism at the expense of Ren Fair. I think that's a great way to put it. I may steal that. Um, yeah, I know, a reality TV going away, wishful thinking. Well, I mean, I know it's not going away, but it seems to at least have gotten past the heyday of it, because for a while there were so many reality shows, and because reality shows are a lot cheaper to film, um, that a lot of the second tier networks on cable were concentrating on that and getting a good return. So it was really pushing over into the mainstream, and was a big thing. But yeah, I mean, how many times can The Bachelor actually work? And I think you're kind of getting to less interest in that, and um, less interest in America's Got Talent and all that kind of thing. I mean, it's kind of played itself out a bit. I know it's still around, but I'm hoping we're past that. But oh well. Hmm. Yeah, and Liz, yeah, you're saying the reality TV is cheap to produce. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, it is a valid route, and we can still blame MTV for everything. The Real World, they started it, but yeah, it was. Yeah, I really wish that they hadn't gone this route with Ren Fair, because I've been hoping for a good Ren Fair show for a while. They had one a few years ago, American Princess, which was, kind of funny. This was on Lifetime. They gave it one season, and it kind of worked. They at least got the gist of it, but they certainly made it pretty cheesy. But they at least got both sides of it, and it was scripted and all of that. It wasn't it was a TV show, not a reality show or documentary. But yeah, they didn't quite. I think it was okay, is how I'd phrase it, and they only gave it one season. I think if they'd given it another season, maybe it would have developed further. But if you want to check it out, it's called American Princess, and it's essentially about somebody who accidentally ends up at a Ren Fair and then falls in love with it and stays. That's the gist of a plot. So, and for people who do that, that's generally how it works. You go to a Ren Fair as a patron or something like that, or you have a friend who works there and you start working there and you fall in love with it. That's generally how it works. Yeah, Drew's saying American Princess was fun and cute, but way oversimplified. That's a good way to put it. Oversimplified. I think, yeah, you're right. They did, instead of doing interesting, detailed plot points, they just kind of they went for the cheap laugh and moved on. And I think they hit some of the main points that you would want to hit. They didn't really dwell on it enough. So I think that's very accurate. Yeah, but if you want to check it out, there's that. I think the only other example I can think of was the Christina Ricci movie from, what was it, like 10 years ago, called All's Fair in Love, which not a great film, but it wasn't bad, I guess. Cheesy, sure, but yeah, they yeah. I think the best part about that was a few of the actors did a good job with it. But that's the story was Oh, okay. Damaris, you like that? You like the film? Okay. All's Fair in Love? Yeah, I mean, it was I thought it was pretty cute, but it's one of those things where it's hard because I could see what they could have done, and I just don't think they carried it far enough. Oh yeah, yes, Rick Alvarez, yes, definitely. But yeah, anyway, I could keep going talking about this, but it's already almost 8:30. So, well, 8:30 here because I'm on East Coast now. I usually say 7:30, but I'm on the East Coast. So yeah, it's weird for me switching it like that. I'm always used to Central Time. A lot of the fairs I do are Central Time, but this is one of the few that I do that's Eastern. So never boring. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump over and do the fair list before it gets too late. Yeah, here we go. Boom. There. Yeah. Now we have a lot of fairs, so I definitely need to jump in on this now. I think, 18 or so? So yeah, definitely a good listing. Let's, here we go. Let's go ahead and get the pet-friendly version with the laser pointer. Yeah, there we go. I like it. I like it. Now let's see. I think, can I do this with one screen? We'll see. Oh, I don't know if I can. Okay, this is going to be tough. I might not be able to use the laser pointer and do the... Well, let me see. I think I can do this. We're going to try. I'm going to try. Come on. There we go. Okay. I'm going to see if I can actually see all the list of all of these, and... There we go. Okay. I think I can do it. We're going to give it a shot. Okay, starting off, we have... Oh, actually, let's start in Canada, because we have the Robin in the Hood Medieval Festival in Elmira, Ontario. And this is only June 1st, and it's, of course, a Robin Hood theme. So something interesting to check out if you're up in Canada. Then going over to the Cape Cod Pirate Festival in South Yarmouth, South Yarmouth, Massachusetts. Whoa, that's a tongue twister if I've ever seen one. It is 2 weekends. This will be the first weekend. Their themes are Saturday. They actually split up their themes by day. So on this Saturday, it'll be Yarmouth Day. And Sunday will be Dressed Like a Pirate Day for the theme. That's kind of interesting. I never see them do it that way. Then jumping over to Harwinton, Connecticut, is Robin Hood's Medieval Fair. And this will be the third weekend out of 7. And this is the Summertime Spooktacular. So it's Halloween themed. Yeah, but in May. That's interesting. Or June, I guess, actually, for this one. Then jumping down as to where I will be at the New Jersey Renaissance Fair in Columbus, New Jersey. This is the third out of 4 weekends. I should know this. And yeah, definitely a fun fair with a lot of great people. Not just me. Then jumping down to Virginia, we have the Virginia Renaissance Fair in Spotsylvania, Virginia. And this is the 4th out of 5 weekends. So it's been going on for a little while, and we're getting to the tail end there. Jumping over, we have the Georgia Renaissance Festival in Fairburn, Georgia. This is the last weekend, so 8 out of 8 weekends. And the theme is Flights of Fantasy. Then jumping up to the Kentucky Highland Renaissance Festival in Eminence, Kentucky. We have the first weekend of that, and the theme is Opening Weekend and Royal Wedding. Then we have the Canterbury Village Medieval Fair in Lake Orion, Michigan. And this is the first out of 2 weekends, and the theme is Vikings. Then you go over to the Magical Realm Fantasy Fair in Charlotte, Michigan, and that's just 1 weekend. Then jumping over to South Dakota, we have the Siouxland Renaissance Festival in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, just 1 weekend. Going down to the Oklahoma Renaissance Festival in Muskogee, Oklahoma. This is its last weekend, the 6th weekend, and the theme is Spice Roads. Going down to Texas, we have the Southeast Texas Renaissance Fair in Call, Texas, and this is the 3rd out of 5 weekends, and the theme is Barbarian Weekend. Then we jump up to Montana, and at the Montana Renaissance Festival in Red Lodge, Montana, just 1 weekend there. And then down in Utah, West Jordan, Utah specifically, the Woodland Fairy Festival at Gardner Village. And this is it's a fairy festival that is 7 weekends long, and this will be the 3rd weekend out of 7. So very, very different. Normally fairy festivals are only 1 weekend, so this is This is a fascinating difference. So yeah, seems to be doing really well. Jumping up to Oregon, we have the Oregon Renaissance Fair in Canby, Oregon, and this is the first out of 3 weekends, and the theme is Highland Fling. Jumping down to Yosemite Chivalry and Fantasy Festival in Mariposa, California, just 1 weekend there. And then down in Southern California, we have the Kronberg Renaissance Festival in Corona, California, and it is the second out of 5 weekends with the theme Market Mayhem. And then last but not least, I never get to say this because they don't have many fairs in Alaska, you have the Three Barons Renaissance Fair in Anchorage, Alaska, and that is the first out of 2 weekends, and the theme is Pirates. So there you go. Woohoo! Yay! All right. So not too bad. Not too bad at all. A little fun. Definitely interesting. Hopefully I didn't mess up any of that. Yeah. Dan is saying that New Jersey had more time to prepare this year and really stepped up their game. And you're right. Last year they only had a couple of weeks, and they made it work. I mean, it's hard for me to ever say a bad thing about New Jersey Fair now, because they did such amazing work last year. And this year, I mean, they had time. So it's like last year there were no major problems, but this year they fixed all the little stuff. So everything's laid out much better. Yeah, it's a really good feeling. So yeah, I'm glad you liked that, Dan. It really, they took a lot of pride in working hard on that, and they did a great job. They really did. They really did. I've been very impressed. So yeah, and I mean, that's one of the best things. I mean, when you work at a fair where the people really, really take pride in the work and want to do a good job. I mean, it's a lot more fulfilling and rewarding when you do that, by far. At least I think. Okay, well, and hey, Kim, thanks for joining. And Andrew Benson, hey, yes. Oh, wow, okay. But yeah, anyway, I guess we'll call it here. It's 8:36 here in New Jersey time. But yeah, I'm going to fix the chat problem, and that'll be working for next Monday. And I will try to watch that new Ren Fair series, and we'll see we'll see how it is. If I can watch it before Monday night's show, I'll let you know what I thought. And please, if you get a chance, do watch it if it's easy for you. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of unsure, but we'll see. But anyway, that's the big news. I guess there is a one other piece of news, and I'll go ahead and share that real quick before I sign off. Yeah, this was there's been a little bit of info about Scarborough Fair floating around. They gave out some information to the merchants out there to try to deal with all the rumors about Scarborough Fair being sold. And of course, the messages they sent out to people got posted on Facebook, and I've checked it. They're accurate, and these are the actual messages. These weren't the fake stuff people posted. So I have verified them. And yeah, it is interesting. It sounds like there is an effort to buy Scarborough, but it's not official yet. They're still trying to work out the details. And the main person behind it is Nick Peterson. So this is the son of Peterson. I mean, all the Peterson fairs, like Kansas City and St. Louis, and yeah, all of those that he owns, that group owns. But this is his son, and he's adamant, determined that I'm not going to be like my dad. I don't want to change anything, and all of that. He's got he's got an investor friend of his he's bringing in, and I don't know. These don't sound like angel investors to me, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I just figured I'd throw that out there. because I'm sure some of you have heard some of the rumors about Scarborough. And yeah, so it's not officially sold yet, but they are working on an offer, and that's where they are. So there you go. So a little Faire news there. And yeah, I know. I watch it so you don't have to, right? Yeah, Chris, saying Jim Peterson neglected the Kansas Fair and let the stages fall apart. Historically, there's been a lot of negative views of Jim Peterson and some of the fairs he's done. Let's just say that. Now, I think some of it is fair, some of it not, but yeah, there's definitely some worry about that because I don't know. I mean, it is interesting. At the very least, I know the entertainment director at Scarborough, Dan. And you've seen him on this show before and on Life's a Faire before as Shakespeare. But at the very least, it looks like he's still got his job for a while, so that's good. But yeah, it is definitely something to watch for and something to be a little worried about and see what happens. So we'll see. We shall see. Definitely not, once again, fair drama. So anyway, I have some homework to do for next week, and I'll see if I can finish that so we can have some cool things to talk to next Monday. But hey, I know it's hot down in Texas, and I really, for those of you down there, try to stay inside and the AC as much as you can. And really sorry. Well, I'm not sorry I'm not down there, but I'm sorry you're not up here because, yeah, I know it's really warm. So try to get through it as best as you can and try to have a good week. And as always, well, let's maybe not a cool week, but let's just see if we can have a fair week. So, and thereby have a fair life. So have a good time, and I will see you next week. Take care.